Is weird, odd, strange, or just plain bizarre is really your cup of tea? Then the Golden State Media Concepts Weird News Podcast will give you that fix. Can't believe it? Well, listen for yourself as we deliver the strangest news you definitely won't find on CNN or Fox. It's the Golden State Media Concepts Weird News Podcast.
Welcome to the GSMC Weird News Podcast with your favorite host, Ryan Holloway, on a lovely spring day in California. But this is the thing. I'm just saying that it's a lovely spring day because we're just going to fake it till we make it. There's this thing going on where spring can't really make up its mind. Like spring isn't sure what it wants to do. Spring's getting cold feet. No pun intended. It just doesn't know what it wants to do. Spring is at the altar and doesn't know if it wants to say yes or no. Spring right now, spring is your friend that calls the party. It's like, hey, what's up? And you're like, are you going to come? And your friend's like, I don't know, bro. Who's over there? What do you mean who's over there? You're going to come or not? Spring is that friend that's just calling, checking in, trying to find out what he wants to do. But in California, we're just going to pretend that it is spring. Now, I know, depending on where you're at, I understand. My 60 and rainy isn't anything compared to like your winter or whatever it is that you do. Whatever your cold may be, I can't say I sympathize. I'm not gonna say that my 60 and rain is okay because you have like below zero in cold. Not gonna. No, I'm not gonna. No, there's no. It's all relative. There's no. You're colder than I am. No, I don't care if it's below zero there and you're snowed in April and it's sad and you're going to have to like eat your cat or your dog because there's no food in your home. However cold you are, that doesn't make you colder than me right now because it's all relative. Like I'm cold relative to a summer that's going to be maybe 110. That makes sense? Fine. So it's just my heads up. We're just going to fake it till we make it. A lot of people are walking around in shorts and flip-flops already, even though it's pouring rain. We're just going to fake it till we make it. We're going to try to manifest. We're going to manifest spring to come in. We're going to pretend and we're going to fake it till we make spring. That's just what's going to happen. That's what we're going to do because we're dedicated. We need the sun. I personally prefer the rain. I like it. However, when it rains for too long, people get a little too used to it and they start driving weird and they don't know what they're doing. And I don't really know how much of the irresponsible driving I can handle in the rain. If it was me by myself, I really wouldn't mind. However, with other people out driving around, you can only trust some of these people on the road for so long. Now, I want to get to something that happened on an airplane the other day. Now, usually when it comes to weird news stories, they're not the most positive stories. They're not that inspiring. They don't really make you say, hey, I want to do better. No, actually, yeah, they don't make you say, hey, I want to do better. They just make you say, I'm glad I'm not that guy. I'm glad I'm not the lady that tried to sneak into her drug dealer's house and died in the ceiling. Died in the, what's it called? Died in the chimney. I'm glad I'm not her. Hey, I'm glad I'm not the guy who stole the goldfish from the pet store and then got caught. I'm glad I'm not that guy. Most of the stories have that type of feel to them. So my job is to make sure that not only do you laugh or that you're entertained, but so that you don't feel bad about whatever may be happening in your life right now. You know, that's what I try to do. I try to bring joy to everyone. That's why I was put here on this earth. This story, however, should motivate you to want to do better. Are you guys ready for this? Because when I read this, I was like, yo, can I use this on weird news? Is this weird? Does this count? Does this qualify as weird news? Will this be okay for my people, for my staff, record label, and crew of my weird newsers? Will they appreciate this story? Well, you know what? I think you guys will appreciate the story. Also, because it's about someone from Florida. It's always about someone from Florida. I watched a show called Atlanta, and they have an episode about Florida Man. And they talk about how Florida Man is just running amok. He's always causing trouble. And I was like, that's interesting because and before I even saw this Atlanta episode, when I was recording episodes for you guys like last year, a lot of the stories I would do about people from Florida. Like, I don't know what goes on in Florida. The state's pretty big, but I don't know why it's always a Florida man. Anyway, this is a positive Florida story. Is it? Yeah, sure. Why not? Okay, so during a flight from Orlando, Florida to Jamaica, a woman began having respiratory problems. She started having respiratory problems and basically went into a cardiac arrest on the plane. Okay. 2 doctors happened on the plane. They say, hey, do you guys have a first aid kit? We need some first aid stuff. And the flight attendants are like, no, we don't have anything that you would ever need to fix this. Right. So the doctors are like, well, here's the thing. They don't even say, what are we going to do? These 2 guys work together. So they're like, okay, you know what we'll do? Fine. They take an air tank, an air tank out of one of the walls or out of one of the above cabins. Then they pull out the breathy thing that's supposed to drop, and so you can breathe while the airplane crashes. You know, the thing that drops in front, and they say, hey, put your mask on before you help anyone else, because we need your mask to be on when the plane crashes. I don't ever really know what those air things are going to do for you if the plane's going to crash. I'd rather just not have one on. Maybe it's to just cool you. Maybe it's to just calm you down. I'm not sure. But they took one of those things out, cut it up, cut the tube off of it, and plug it into the air machine, and then plug it into the lady. And they diverted the plane to Jacksonville. And she was all set. Can you believe this? Now, this is something where this isn't the type of thing where it's like, yo, I can't wait to be on a plane for this to happen. They basically just created a medical ventilator midair. Right? So she goes into cardiac arrest and they just create a ventilator midair to send air into her lungs. They didn't have the equipment that the doctors actually needed. They didn't have it. So when the doctors basically just took care of this terrifying incident, they requested that the flight crew land the plane. Now, I just gotta say, I just have to say, also there's this as well. You guys ready? All right, there's this also. After this all happened, the flight crew, everyone on the passengers, they all gave the doctors a round of applause. A round of applause. Somebody give these guys a medal. Listen, I want to be so good at something in my life. I want to be so good at something that when all figurative hell breaks loose, everything's fine. Can you imagine? Are you that good at anything in your life? Where if all figurative hell broke loose, you'd be like, all right, fine, we got this. These guys work together and instantly, hey, cut that thing, do this one too. Now, I'm someone that thinks our debt system for school and the way we got to pay for it is kind of messed up. I think the way we pay for school and the way we borrow this money, I think it's messed up. And some schools cost a lot. Private schools cost a lot. UC system, whatever, wherever you go, wherever you go, it may cost a lot. Private school, med school, all that stuff. But let's not even talk about law school or med school, right? But I don't know how much these guys' med school debts was. I don't know where they went to school at. However, if your med school taught you how to save a life in the air, bless up to education. Bless up to formal education, because that's incredible. I think there's certain situations in your life where when something pops off, it might just be your time. When certain things happen to you, it just might be your time. I'm saying, I'll give you guys a quick example. I was watching Fear the Walking Dead yesterday, right? There's a part where one of the characters, Morgan, he falls down on the ground and he's shot in his leg and these zombies are just about to eat him. It's about to be a wrap for him. But some guy comes out of nowhere and kills both the zombies for him. It was just about to be his time, And I think that if you have a heart attack on an airplane, it might just be your time. But what are the odds you have a heart attack on an airplane? There's 2 doctors, no equipment, but these 2 doctors know how to save without equipment. What are the odds? What are the odds? Here's the thing. I'm going to take a quick break. And when I get back, I'm going to explain to you how much more amazing this actually is. Be right back.
Check out the show built around the women of MMA. From the UFC to the extreme cage fighting, we got the fights covered.
Listen.
It's the Golden State Media Concepts Women's MMA Podcast. The latest news of upcoming fights, discussions of previous matches. Join us as we talk to and about the biggest names in women's mixed martial arts, past, present, and future. When it's the women's fight game, you know where to listen to. The Golden State Media Concepts Women's MMA Podcast.
Welcome back to the GSMC Weird News Podcast with your favorite host, Ryan Holloway. So I'm saying, in case you're just now joining us, there was a situation where a lady had a heart attack on an airplane, like full out cardiac arrest, and 2 doctors on the plane didn't have any equipment. The flight crew didn't have the utensils that they needed. Not utensils like sporks and knives and actual spoons. And not butter knives, not that type of equipment or utensils, but like actual things they need to like help this woman, like no first aid kit. They took an air tank out of the overhead bin and then took the drop down mask tube and then inserted it in the lady and then basically made like a makeshift ventilator and saved her life. Now, one thing I'm trying to figure out, sometimes you don't expect certain things to work out for you. Like, I think if you're in a situation where you have a heart attack on an airplane, you're like, you know what? I had a good life. I think this is just going to be the end. Versus if you're in Walmart and have a heart attack. No. That's a bad example. If you have a heart attack in Walmart, it might be your time too. If you have a heart attack in the mall near the fountain, you may be saved. And you would think, hey, you know what? I may make it out of this alive. I might make it out of this because there's a lot of people around. There should be medical personnel near this mall. Yeah, I'll be okay. The odds of me making it are going to be all right. I'm not going to like write my will right now. But if you have a heart attack on an airplane, like 20,000 feet in the air, I don't really, it might, yeah, you might just want to start texting goodbyes. It's a wrap. But luckily, the 2 doctors were on a plane. They were headed to Jamaica too, and they were able to save this lady's life. I think that's incredible. Now, this is kind of my PSA. I'm going to sneak a little PSA in here for you guys. A little public service announcement for the motivated, for the ambitious, for people that want more. You should probably be so good at something that if you should probably want to be. Whatever you strive to be good at in your life, whatever need be, whatever you think you're put on this earth for, you should be so good at it that when all figurative hell breaks loose, you're completely okay. Because that's basically what happened, right? Like, this lady's about to die. The doctors are like, all right, yo, we got this. And here's the thing. They're pals, so they've done this before. That's kind of like, I don't know if any of you guys play sports, if you play basketball or whatnot, and say you're with your boy and y'all chilling or whatnot, right? And then someone's like, hey, you guys want to play us 2-on-2? Or say you're at a court and 2 other people are just there, like, you guys want to play 2-on-2? Like, yeah, sure, we'll do that. Then you and your pal destroy the other team. Destroy him. Let's say 15-2. Because you guys have done this before. And that's basketball. I'm talking about in-flight surgery. Can you imagine? The only reason I want to share this with you guys is because these doctors are they're older. The dudes, basically, the way they look on the pictures, they're either late 40s or early 50s. I'm going to say they're 50-something. And I just want you to know that if you're trying to be good at something, it takes a long time. It genuinely takes a long time. So don't be discouraged when things don't quite work out for you, because one day you'll be good enough that you can do things on the fly. Whoa, that was too, no pun intended. I didn't mean to say it like that, but literally though, you can do things on the fly, and you're going to be that good at whatever it is that you're striving to do. Eventually, it's going to happen. Don't worry about it. With that, I hope you took from that what I took from it, because I want to be as awesome as those flight doctors one day. Check this out. As some of you guys may know, Toys R Us went bankrupt. A lot of our memories as children was the big book. They would send out the big book. And you know what? I'm not even sure if you guys even remember the big book. But before the internet, whoa. not before the internet. That I'm not that old. I'm going to say before the internet was super popping, before the internet was outstanding, before the internet could let you buy things in 2 clicks and have it at your door in 72 hours. Before that, they had this magazine called The Big Book, and Toys R Us would send it out, let's say around mid-November. This is before like Black Friday was a massacre. It was before that. And this book was maybe like 50 pages thick and had all of the most incredible, outstanding, fantastic toys in it. All of them. You would cut out the toys you wanted and save them to your Christmas list and give them to your parents. If you were good, they'd buy them. And if you were a terrible child, then they would just give you away after Christmas. Like, hey, you didn't get any gifts because we're going to give you away. But if you were good, then you would get all these gifts. Now, Toys R Us was an official toy store. This is a big deal because not everywhere had toys. It was the official toy store, the official. You know how do we say this? You know, there's a PetSmart and a Petco. At one point, there was only Petco. I think Petco came before PetSmart. That's where you go for pets, right? Right. Even though you can get pets at like Walmart, or you can get fish at like Walmart or whatever. You can get fish at a lot of places, but Petco is a place for pets, right? That's what Toys R Us was. It was a place for toys. That's all you needed was toys. That was it. It went bankrupt. Just went completely bankrupt. So down the drain. So they've got like a lot of properties and just real estate that's just hanging out because there were a lot of these stores. They closed half of them at one point, probably several years ago. But there's a lot of these stores just like lounging, just open, just random stores. Because they had a lot of toys, the stores are really big. They're probably like, each one's maybe like, I don't know, either the same size as a Target or half the size of a Target, right? And I don't know what anyone's going to do with these buildings. You know what someone decided to do with this Toys R Us building? Somebody decided to throw a rave in the Toys R Us building. Decided to use the whole Toys R Us building to throw a rave. They handed out flyers for it. They spray painted on a couple billboards, like kind of, how do you say it? Some encoded messages that needed to be decrypted. Encrypted messages that needed to be decoded. That's what I meant to say. And so they had this plan to throw this rave in a Toys R Us, which I, for one, I've never been to a rave, but I have been to a party that was inside of a warehouse. And I can only imagine how outstanding was going to be. I can only imagine how outstanding this whole thing was going to be. However, what happened? What ended up happening? Guess. Yeah. People got too loud about it, and the police found out, and then the party ended up being on Twitter. And the police sent the message out saying, hey, if you planned on coming to this rave at Toys R Us, it's been shut down. So don't even show up because we know about your rave. We know about your secret. It was going to be a really good idea. But sorry, guys, there won't be a rave here. Which, you know, it's kind of saddening because I feel like if there was going to be a rave anywhere, then it should be at Toys R Us. Want to know why? I'm going to tell you why. One, if there's still toys there and you're on if you're on rave drugs, seems like it'd be a good idea. Another thing is, what's anyone else going to do with the building? Secondly, all these kids, all these people that have all at one point bought a gift from Toys R Us, received a gift from Toys R Us, have driven by a Toys R Us, or worked at a Toys R Us. In fact, I dated a girl that worked at Toys R Us once. She was really nice. All these people have some type of connection to Toys R Us. It's in their history somehow, some way. And I feel like the best way to give a tribute to the legendary toy distributor would be to have a rave. Why not? Like, why not have a rave there? And I think that the people that shut it down, I don't know if it was a specific police officer or if it was a specific police department. I shall say no names. I just think that maybe they were someone that was never given a toy from Toys R Us. Because Toys R Us has a mascot. It's a giraffe. His name is Jeffrey the giraffe. And I feel like for us to put Jeffrey the giraffe to rest, we should have a rave at Toys R Us. I hope these people eventually are able to get it back together. I hope so. This wasn't even in the US. This was in London. Yes, Toys R Us was global. It was global. It was if you don't know about Toys R Us, it was a big deal. It was seriously like, and I don't really know how else to compare it. You know what? I'm gonna go out on a limb. You wanna know what Toys R Us was like? Are you ready for this? Okay. In And even though they've closed a lot of these, but everywhere you'd see a Best Buy, there'd be a Toys R Us. And they've closed a lot of Best Buys. And I mean, like, prior to them closing Best Buy, that's how outstanding Toys R Us was. It was everywhere. So everywhere you see a Best Buy now in your lifetime, that's where Toys R Us would be at. And people don't even really go to Best Buy anymore. I don't even really know how Best Buy is surviving. But that's a story for another day. Anyway, with that said, R.I.P. Toys R Us. R.I.P. I'm going to pay a couple bills. And then when I get back, I'm going to tell you guys about the best. No, let's not say that's the best. It's no way. How about this? This how we're going to do this. I'm going to take a quick break. But while I'm gone, I want you to guess the most disgusting burger topping that you could ever think of. Just think about it. I want you to think about the most disgusting burger topping you could ever think of. And when you think about it, in fact, just think of 3 of them. And I guarantee that you will not guess what burger topping they're putting on burgers for $30. You can just think of 3. And by the time I get back, I'm going to tell you. And you'll be like, wait, what? What? For real? For real, Ryan? Yes, for real. Very for real. I'll pay this bill. I'll be right back. Go nowhere.
This is your ultimate stop for everything sports. The Golden State Media Concepts Sports Podcast. Should I say more? From the NFL, MLB, the NBA to MMA, it's all in here. The Golden State Media Concepts Sports Podcast. Listen now.
Welcome back to the GSMC Weird News Podcast with your favorite host, Ryan Holloway. I asked you guys before I left to try to think of, what's the word? Let's say the most disgusting burger topping you could ever think of. The most disgusting burger topping you could ever think of. I asked you to probably think of like 3 and see if you could maybe think of 3, and I figured that you wouldn't be able to come up with one that I have for you. All right, are you ready? What were yours? I'm listening. No? That wasn't it. What? That's kind of close, but no, that's not it either. Okay. In Durham, North Carolina, Bull City Burger and Brew it's exotic meat month there, and their exotic meat of the month is a tarantula. So what they're doing is they have an exotic meat challenge where for $30, you can buy this burger and it will be topped with basically grass-fed beef and Gruyere cheese, chili sauce, along with an oven-roasted tarantula. And if you eat the whole thing, you get a t-shirt. You also get something called dirty fries. I don't know if those fries have roaches on them or if they just have some bacon on them. I don't know. It wasn't made clear. I would assume if there were bugs on the fries as well, they would have told us, but they did not tell us that. I digress. Here's my thing. There's certain stuff that you can put on food or certain things that I would want to try because I think they would taste good. Now, when it comes to that, I mean different meats on burgers. Like the other day, not too long ago, not the other day. Not. People of my generation say the other day when it was months ago, but that's what we mean when I say the other day. The other day, probably in January, I had this burger. It was a burger with pastrami on it. I'd never had it before. I've been told that pastrami on a burger is really good. It is really good. You get a nice salty brand of meat with the pastrami, and then you get that with the burger meat. It makes a good flavor combination. It's amazing. It's really good. It's genuinely great. Other people put onions on their burgers, fried onions, so on and so forth. However, I think that if you put something on a burger, it should taste well. The reason I brought up fried onions is because I don't think that putting a fried onion on your burger makes it taste any better. I feel like you just do that to say you have a fried onion on your burger. That's why you're doing that. Because when an onion is fried, you can't taste the onion anyway. All you can taste is the fried batter on the outside. So you're just doing that just to be doing it. versus putting Doritos on, like, I don't know, a sandwich. You can taste the Dorito. I'm not a big fan of that either. But at least the Dorito has seasoning on it, and this onion ring does not have seasoning on it. This tarantula is an oven roasted tarantula. It doesn't say whether or not it's seasoned. It's just a tarantula that looks like they put in the oven, and we're like, hey, we're gonna put this on a burger. I just want to take this time to say that when I don't know if we're doing bad as an economy if people are willing to pay $30 to buy a burger that has a tarantula on it. I'm not even sure what the average income of Durham, North Carolina is. I don't think it's an expensive area, but for them to be offering $30 burgers with tarantulas on them, I'm going to say the economy is doing pretty well. Cause you know what? I'm not going to pay $30 for a burger at all, let alone if it has a tarantula on it. A tarantula? One tarantula? Like, there's so many other things to put on that to make it seem like it's exotic. Maybe for $30 you can put a dove on it. Can you put a dove? Not a dove, not a $20 bill, an actual dove, like a dove on the burger. Can you put a duck there? Maybe some fried grasshoppers with lemon pepper. From what I gather, fried grasshoppers are pretty tasty. I don't know. I can't tell you for sure, but the lemon pepper fried grasshopper sounds better than just an oven roasted tarantula. I saw the picture of the tarantula. It doesn't even look appetizing. It looks like, you know what it looks like? It looks like poop. It looks like poop. It's brown. It looks like poop. It doesn't look good. Doesn't look tasty at all. Now, for anyone that's out there that has tasted this burger, congratulations. I feel like it seemed like congratulations. My only problem is this. This might be my problem with the whole spider on a burger. Tarantulas and spiders have that thing. They have like a butt on the back, right? A little round thing on the back. The tarantula's little butt thing is like, I don't know. It seems like it's about a ping pong ball size. When you bite that, what's in there? What's in there? Is there what's in there? Is it like crab meat? If it's like crab meat, okay, we can have a conversation. Maybe we can do that. Is the inside like a snail? Because if the inside's like a snail, that's disgusting. That is disgusting. If the inside is like crab meat, we can talk about it. If it's like calamari, we could talk about it. If it's like alligator, we can talk about it. If it's like a snail, no. So, I'm a hater. I'm hating on this burger. I'm hating on you paying $30. If I see you wearing your t-shirt, I'm hating. I'm just hating tough on the whole situation. I'm not a hater. I've never subscribed to being one. I don't usually rock with the haters. That's not really my thing. However, this whole hype of you charging me $30 in the burger, here's the thing. The burger's not even a sexy burger. It's not like it's not like the patty is like 3/4 of a pound and there's bacon and there's aioli. It's spicy sauce, a burger, and cheese with a tarantula on it. Tarantulas don't even cost $30. I think tarantulas cost like $15 maybe. So yeah, I don't know. It seems, I don't know if you can call that exotic meat. You know what? Maybe the economy isn't doing very well if we're calling exotic meat tarantulas. I remember a time when exotic meat was like a bison, maybe like a bear, maybe even a deer burger, but a tarantula, we're just putting bugs on our food now. You know what? Maybe it is the end of times. Maybe it really is the end of times when we're putting bugs on our burgers and calling them exotic. Wow, that escalated really fast. I accidentally depressed myself. Book Eli in like the next couple weeks. With that, I appreciate you guys joining me for another Weird News podcast with your favorite host, Ryan Holloway, brought to you by and presented on the most incredible GSMC Weird News podcast. Live long, prosper, watch for potholes. I will see you next week. Bye.